That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, thank y'all so much for the support on the last video. I mean, y'all absolutely killed that video with likes. If y'all could do the same thing on this one, I mean, we are going to continue to skyrocket to 20,000 subscribers. I mean, we are so close to getting there. We started the year at 2,000, so 20,000 is going to be absolutely massive. I told y'all we recorded that NFL Combine video. Kind of embarrassing, kind of funny, but that video will be uploaded once we get to 20,000 subscribers. I've had a lot of DMs with people wanting to see it. Maybe I'll end up uploading it on Patreon for the patrons before then. We'll see, guys. If you're part of the Patreon community, if you're part of the flock, please shoot me a DM if you want me to upload it on Patreon. Then maybe we could do that. But regardless, let's get into this video and let's talk about our first wide receiver that is skyrocketing in fantasy football value, and this is Tyreek Hill. So guys, I know with Tyreek Hill, y'all probably saying, Mason, why the hell are you even talking about Tyreek Hill? We all know he's a wide receiver one. You start him each and every week. But guys, after this past performance, I mean, I think that there are very few wide receivers in fantasy football that we would prefer having over Tyreek Hill. Now, this is something that brings tears to my eyes, something that actually I am so excited about, because in our rest of season wide receiver ranking video, a lot of people gave me so much crap with where I had Tyreek Hill. People telling me that he did not have access to that elite ceiling anymore just because Patrick Mahomes was not throwing with the same amount of volume. Well, all the haters can go suck it, because Tyreek Hill just had 18 targets, 9 receptions, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now with Tyreek Hill, obviously this is not a performance that we can come to expect every single week, but this does remind us that he is a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football. Now guys, please go to the comments below and let me know what wide receivers you would rather have in fantasy football over Tyreek Hill for the rest of the season. Really, the only guy that comes to my mind that I can't argue anything about is going to be Devontae Adams. Outside of that, I mean, if you want to talk DK Metcalf, if you want to talk about Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, I think all of those wide receivers, yes, you can make the argument to have them ahead of Tyreek Hill, but they definitely do not have that case locked up, where Tyreek Hill right now may very well be the 5th or 6th best player in fantasy football. Please, guys, do not move him off your roster unless you are just getting a massive haul. Okay, now another wide receiver I got so much crap for. DJ Chark. Y'all know we're about to run some victory laps around DJ Chark. This was a wide receiver that we wanted to continue jamming in our starting lineup just because he was getting that massive volume for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, yes, DJ Chark came off a performance that he's probably not going to be able to repeat at all in 2020, but it doesn't matter because he can regress some and still be a fantastic fantasy football asset. 7 receptions, almost 150 yards, a touchdown on 12 targets. Now, guys, that 12 target mark is actually why we loved DJ Chark this week. That's actually why we were trying to get DJ Chark into our lineups before the bye as well, when it did not work out. Because if we kind of trace DJ Chark's last 3 performances, whenever he did come back healthy, his performance 3 weeks ago was actually against the Detroit Lions, where he led the NFL in air yards. The following week, it was against the Los Angeles Chargers. And yes, I mean, he only put up 1 reception for like 14 yards, and we all had him in our starting lineups just because we knew that the athleticism was there, we knew that the volume was there, so we were trying to play him everywhere we could. We took a massive L that week, but this week, oh guys, try to beat a flock team if you were going up against DJ Chark. It probably just did not happen. Now going forward, I don't know if we can confidently rate DJ Chark as a high-end wide receiver 2. I think that he is going to be that low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3. And now, that's not necessarily very far off with where we had him going into this week. But guys, like I said, I mean, we kind of knew that DJ Chark had this type of talent. We knew that he was seeing this type of volume. So there's no reason to go and drastically alter him in our fantasy football rankings. Really, the only concern with him is going to be how much of this production was a result of the defensive matchup against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans were also missing their top defensive back this game. So yeah, everything really aligned for DJ Chark to have a massive blow-up performance. But still, because it happened, his value is going to increase. Definitely not a wide receiver I'm trying to sell high. Okay, now our next wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, it just brings a smile to my face every single time he blows up, because y'all know how many people in the flock have Terry McLaurin. I mean, after the first 2 weeks where he did not necessarily see that production live up to his draft hype, I was begging y'all to go out there and trade for Terry McLaurin. And since then, he is providing us consistent elite level usage in this Washington offense. Now, what was most impressive about this performance, where he had 7 receptions, over 100 yards, and a touchdown, is he did this with Alex Smith in there at quarterback. Alex Smith, who threw 3 interceptions this game. So I think if we are looking at his quarterback play, yes, we can very easily make the argument that it's the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL. But on top of that, we have to understand that it does not matter, because while he's getting the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL, he is being able to go out there and produce with it. Now, going forward, I think with Terry McLaurin, it's very easy to project him as that high-end wide receiver too, just because he's seeing about 30% of his team's targets. And not only is he seeing an elite target share in his offense, this is also a wide receiver that has that athletic ability, has that high average depth of target, where all those are aligning to allow him to have massive blow-up performances. And I think it's very easy to say that we could possibly see Alex Smith continue to improve in Washington. Came back from a very, very serious injury, so I think only more time is only going to make him better. Now, yeah, guys, with Terry McLaurin, I mean, high-end wide receiver too, please don't be moving him off your roster. Now, a wide receiver that we love the talent from, but I told y'all not to start this past week, and honestly, it kind of hurt me, but Jerry Jeudy, 7 receptions, over 120 yards, a touchdown, and what was great about this is 14 targets. Now, with Jerry Jeudy, I also love the fact that we actually saw this production come in a game where Tim Patrick was actually active. Now, y'all know Tim Patrick was making our sell high wide receiver video pretty much week over week over week whenever this offense did not have Jerry Jeudy, did not have KJ Hamler, did not have Noah Fant, because other fantasy analysts were coming out here acting like Tim Patrick was a real thing in this offense. We did our homework over the summer. We tracked the NFL every single day, and we kind of looked at the talent profile of these wide receivers like a KJ Hamler, like a Jerry Jeudy, realized that Tim Patrick really was nowhere in the same ballpark as these two guys. So we knew that Tim Patrick was not someone that we wanted to have on our rosters, just because he was a good NFL role player, but not someone that was going to make a fantasy football impact. Now, I was worried with Tim Patrick, though, that he was not only going to be a good NFL role player, that he was going to get just enough volume to where he made it where we could not start Jerry Jeudy, where Tim Patrick actually produced what I think we can expect from him most weeks, where he was in the wide receiver 4 range, and still, we saw Jerry Jeudy be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy this week. A lot of it was done in garbage time, just something that is very concerning whenever we are looking at this Denver Broncos team and the production that Drew Lock has provided since being a starter there. I mean, pretty much everything has come from garbage time. So with Jerry Jeudy, you definitely need him on your roster. I don't necessarily know if this is a wide receiver we need in our starting lineup, though, just because the offense is going to be very volatile. Okay, so now our last wide receiver, someone that just completely killed Will Fuller, Brandin Cooks. Guys, with Brandin Cooks, this is the first year ever since he came into the NFL in 2014 that I was kind of fading Brandin Cooks. And honestly, looking back at it, that was just a horrible process play by me. I was worried about the concussions. I was not just taking the discount where we had it, because if we were chasing Brandin Cooks in New Orleans, if we were chasing him in New England, if we were chasing him in Los Angeles, why were we not doing the same when he was getting the best quarterback play of his entire career in the Houston Texans? I mean, coming off a performance where, yes, he only saw 3 receptions, but what's important here is he actually saw 9 targets. And we know the targets are a lot more indicative of future fantasy success rather than this recent week's production. And I'll say with Brandin Cooks, this is actually a wide receiver that I think in plus matchups, we need to be making sure we're getting into every single one of our starting lineups. Now, what's going to be intriguing when we are looking at Brandin Cooks right now is, what does this mean for a player like Will Fuller? I mean, Will Fuller, I thought, was going to be seeing a consistent 25% share of his team's targets. Brandin Cooks really is not allowing for that whatsoever. I don't know how predictive this is for Will Fuller's future production, but definitely something that we need to keep in mind. Definitely something that we need to track, because y'all know I was very, very high on Will Fuller coming into this season. Now, that's all I got for y'all. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go down there, drop a like on the video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Very, very excited for y'all to see that NFL Combine video. And that's all I got for y'all guys. Have a great day.